Hello everyone, welcome to this second session on Zentangle alphabet borders. So today we'll be furthering our journey. We'll be using the alphabet U and exploring some more border patterns or tangles. Basically use our knowledge of Zentangle and alphabets combined together to create beautiful border tangles. Yeah. So this was the first one that we did using basically the shape of A, right, and playing around with the center stem or center line, and we created these 4 patterns. So today we'll further our journey and create 4 more patterns, and I am today going to use the alphabet U. Yeah, so we'll be working on the vowel sounds as I told you, and let us get started and first draw U, the alphabet U, right? So I'm going to draw these U's and add an inner aura. So it's a double line U like this, right? Again at a distance, again going to draw U or write U and then add an inner aura like this, right? Again leave some space, go to the next one, add an inner aura, right? Go to the 4th one. So these shapes provide us lot of opportunities to play around. We just created 4 tangles or 4 border patterns. We can create so many more just by varying a little bit in those patterns only, right? So just the purpose of this series is just to uh, explore, yeah, the possibilities, and then you can take on from there and just grab something, explore your creativity more, right? So let us now add a leaf kind of thing inside. So what I'm doing is keeping the center constant and adding V shapes like these, right? Again I'll do the same exercise. Started with a V, I have fixed my center and then adding more V's, right? So I'm using my PN here. You can always use your O1. PN is a little more prominent on video, so yeah. So I'm doing the same exercise for all, drawing this V shape emanating from a center point. So kind of leaf, the veins of a leaf, yeah. So that's the basic, and then we have these spaces in between. Now it is up to us what we want to do with those spaces. So I'll give you a couple of options and then we'll pick up one option when we draw on the bigger sheet. Yeah. So first option, a nice option can be the tangle echoism, which is a nice weave like this. Yeah. Or you can go with simple auras. Yeah. Or you can add auras with a highlight. So we can ink the auras. Something like this. We can also add patterns like Knightsbridge or, you know, simple floors, whatever you feel like. So I'm drawing floors here. You can also draw Knightsbridge, that is ink alternate boxes right? Or you can always add something like a crisscross, and then ink opposite sides. So there's so many options. So once you have drawn the basic, then just explore what can you put between them, right? So it would be nice to keep it simple, so I would prefer auras, and but you can always draw Knightsbridge like this also. Yeah, a simple grid, a little different grid, right? So up to you, what do we want to do? So again, just supposing that we have echoism hidden there, right? So let us see how to shade this. So nice to shade this here. The beginnings of the U, and inside, in between spaces, depending on what have you placed inside, right? So for the auras, it would be nice to darken the ends, right? You can always add to half. Again, this is again depends how do you want to shade. So generally shaded on the lines. Yeah, again both sides would be a good idea. Right, so there are so many options. Just keep the basic constant, and then you can vary the in between space. Yeah, so just to show you, blending the edges, the two sides, so that the center automatically gets highlighted. So I basically like these three options, but again, just to show you the possibilities, you can add any other pattern. You can add Knightsbridge, you can add any pattern of your choice. You can darken one side of Knightsbridge. Yeah. Yeah. So that's one simple and easy way to use your U. So let us now, as we did yesterday in the last session also, transfer our pattern to this piece, the project that we are doing, right? So I have drawn this grid, and let me show you how I drew this grid. So I'll just pick up one phi tile, and what I did was just marked one center point. So this is my phi tile, and just roughly I marked one center point, right? And then I drew a rough line straight from there, right? And then I started with lines like these. So the first one that I drew was almost at the same distance, like this, the V, right? And then I started how much width I want for the borders, and then I started like this. So I kept the width constant, this and this constant, right? And then I started like this, right? So this is the grid that I'm using for my border tangles, and I think it will look nice once we fill up the grid. That's why I chose this grid, because they have this zigzag overlap kind of feel. So I'm drawing this grid in front of you, right? And then you can add one or two lines here if you have spaces. So that is how I drew it, right? So moving on to our U tangle. Yeah, so let us pick up any one section. So I'm going to pick up this one today. So let us start with our W shape. Yeah, then moving on to the next. Right, then moving on to the next. So trying to kind of keep them equidistant, but it's okay even if they are not. You don't need to use a scale or some measurement. Take it easy. Right, so once we are done with that, let us do the next. So I'm going to add these V shapes. Right, nice petal like feel, but a simple stroke, that is V. Yeah, and now it is up to us, what do we want to do inside. So what I'm going to do is add echoism. Yeah, so just going to re-emphasize this inner aura a bit. So this paper is quite coarse, it's about 300 GSM, and at times the pen misbehaves on the paper. So I'm just going to retrace and darken the line a bit. Yeah. Yeah. So let us now add echoism. So I'm going to start with a loop here. Nice loops, nice feel to the pattern, nice weaving. Right? Can add one more here. So you can either use this or you can add any other tangle. As I showed you, there are many options. Yeah. So we are done with this one and I'm going to shade it later. Let us move on to our second border using the shape U. So I'm now going to draw continuous up and down U's like this. So I'm not breaking it. So basically a zigzag, but they are basically U shapes. One straight, one upside down, one straight, one upside down. So you might want to rotate your tile so that you can draw it easily. Yeah. And the next step is to add this another curve inside. Right, and I'm going to do that on both the sides. So rotate and then add one more. Yeah, So till now we are just using the basic C shape, up down, right? Done with that. Now let us add auras. So as many as possible here in the space above. And one small thing that I am going to do is add some weight in the center like this. And I also add some weight on one side as if it is an opening or a door, right? Do the same on the other side and then add auras. Right? Again, you can add some weight in the center, a little prominence, right? Again, rotate. Again, add auras. A little weight at the center, right? So I'm going to go on like this. Simple exercise. Only auras and some curved lines. The first one I am going to be calling U leaf, right? Because it has that leaf kind of feeling. And this one probably will be a U door. Yeah. So I'll continue like this. I think you got a hang of it. Yeah. So I did the same exercise for all the sections, and then let us move on to shading. So shading would be either, since you have darkened the center, you can always add a highlight on the center, or you can keep it on one side, right? So here and here, here and here. So I'm just alternating the shade. Where I have darkened or thickened the line of the door, there I will shade, and on the opposite side on the curves, right? So let us now blend, and if you want you can close these ends with your pen. Right? So just soften, don't blend too much. Yeah, so they almost look like there's something inside. Simple to draw but has a nice feel, and you can start with the U shape. Yeah, simple up and down. Yeah, so that's it. So that's another tangle that you can, border tangle that you can draw using the U. So let us now quickly transfer it to our bigger piece that we are drawing. Yeah, so I'm going to draw it here. So starting here, again up, down, up, down. Yeah, and then these doors. Right, and then you can add some weight on one side. Right, so we'll do the same for the other one on the other side. Right, moving on to our auras. Yeah, don't forget to add that little touch of weight. Small thing, but adds to the look. Yeah, I'm just closing the ends here. Right, and we leave it here and we'll shade it a little later. So let us explore some more of the U. So in the third section, I'm just going to add a rough pencil line. Yeah, so in between. And then I'm going to draw small U like this. Go straight, then draw another U like this. Invert it, go straight, draw another one like this. Go straight, draw upside down, go straight, draw U like this, go straight, right? So again using the same U shape, right? So you can see how beautiful. Now you can do so many things with this kind of a grid that you have, but I'm going to be keeping it simple. So I'm just going to play with shading here. So I'm just adding lines, right? So all these sections I'm just going to add lines and add a little weight one side, probably on the same side. You can do that on the same side. Again straight lines, add some weight on one side, again straight lines, add some weight on one side. Yeah, you can also add some highlight if you want, something like this. Yeah, break the lines, again add some weight, right? So that's how the tangle looks like, and it would be simple to shade it because we have already highlighted. So just add some graphite under the highlights. So this one is a leaf, this is a door, I'm sorry, U leaf, U door, and this can be called U flap because they look like flaps. So if you're already aware of any pattern like this, do let me know. I would love to give due credit, but this is something came to my mind, so I just wish to call it U flap, right? And simply add it under the area which I have darkened under the flaps, and then just highlighting that. Right, so that's another way to use your U. So let us transfer it to our main piece on which we are combining our tangles. So this one again I will draw a rough reference line and then start with my U, go straight up, go straight down, go straight up, go straight down, right? Simple. And then these, so let's add some highlight, some zen, and then some weight. Yeah, so I'm keeping the weight on one side only. Again some highlight, right? So we'll do the same exercise throughout. Add the weight and the lines. Yeah, so done the same exercise in the same fashion, right? Done with this tangle. So let us go a little further and explore one more. So this is going to be simple. So what I'm going to do is first pen this line, right? And then leave a little space above. So if you find it a little difficult, then you can add one more line just for help. Yeah, and then we start like this. And then we go like this. And then we start again like this. And then we go again like this. So these are two U's, one straight and one upside down, woven into each other. Something like Duda, but we'll try and give it a different look. Yeah. Right. So next thing that I'm going to be doing here is close these ends. So I'm going to close it like this, like a V shape. Yeah. If you want, you can also close it like a pipe, like you can encircle, for example, something like this on the top. Yeah. So I like this shape, so I'm putting this shape, but again there are options available. You can play around, right? Same on the other side. Nice little V to close the ends, right? And then I'll do the same here also, between the U's. Yeah, and then rotate and do the same on the other side. right? Yeah, so that's the fourth pattern. This pattern, it would be nice idea to ink these spaces. It will add boldness to the pattern. So these in between spaces, would be nice to fill them up. If you don't want to do that, you can fill these sections. Yeah, these sections that you have created in the middle, you can also consider filling them up. So I've done the same exercise on the other side also, and this gives lot of prominence to this border, filling in the in between spaces. And as I told you, you can alternatively fill in these spaces, these diamond kind of spaces that we created. Both ways it should be fine. So let us now shade. So shading, you can shade in a number of ways, but I would just keep it simple and add some at the ends. Right, and then blend. So this one, lot of embellishments that you can do. Let's see if we want to do something as we transfer it to our final project. Yeah, so that's the fourth one for today. Let us see and transfer it here. So I'm going to use this space now and start, probably give a finishing line first. Start here. Yeah, so weaving two U shapes together. The same way just I showed you. You can see here one more time. Yeah, and then we will close the ends. The other side. And this one also. And on the other side. Right? Variation, I'm just going to add an ink half of this section that I created. Right? So as I told you, you can either fill up the space which will add that drama to the tangle, or this is another one. So I'm just picking up those sections that we created and inking half of it. Right? So with the same grid, we already created a variation. So just explore more. Yeah. So once I have done that, since the space below is quite a bit, I'm just going to add a thin aura first and then going to ink the rest. Right? So small little things that you can do. think the below space is little more than required. So I added this aura, and now I'm going to ink the small bits that are left. Yeah. So let's do that on both the sides. So just finishing filling up the small little spaces on the other side also. And we are sorted. Done. Yeah. Right. So let us now shade. So this is already, I think, would be nice to shade on both sides, since we already have enough of inking there. So just highlight the two sides and darken the two sides and leave the center as it is. That would be a nice way to go about shading this one. The ink is still wet, so you might want to take it easy. Get back to it a little later probably. Yeah, as far as this is concerned, I think this is enough to highlight it. So moving on to this one in the center and on both sides. Right. So let us now blend. Yeah. So one small little thing that we can do to add that extra zing is to add some dots. Like these. Add the intersection. Yeah. Small highlight. Yeah. And we are done. So that's another one. So let's move on to the third one that we drew. So again, under the area which you have highlighted darkened, right? So we have added some weight here to one side of the flaps. So we can call it U flaps, and we just add some graphite under that and we are sorted. Nothing much required. Yeah. Yeah, that's one more. And then again this one, as I mentioned, some on the opposite side of the darkened area. Yeah, and probably on the ends. So I'm now blending. So just make sure that the whites and the blacks are discrete and you don't add too much. Yeah, that's about it. We don't need to do anything else. Yeah, so that's how our 4 tangles look like. 4 for today, using U as the basic shape, right? So hope you are enjoying the series, and I will meet you again with another vowel sound. Till then, have a good time, stay safe, bye bye.